السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. يسعدني في هذا المساء أن ألتقي كاتبة مميزة عملت بالكثير وأنجزت الكثير منذ طفولتها، وهي متحدية ومقاومة منطلقة إلى الأمام. إنها الأستاذة أودري Obuobisa-Darko، وهي كاتبة غانية وطالبة ماجستير أيضا في الكتاب الإبداعية بجامعة أيوا، وشاركت أيضا في ورشة عمل جائزة كاين، وقد حاز على جائزة دريم فاوندري لعام 2022 لكتاب الناشئين في حينها. وأيضا لديها كتابان منذ طفولتها، وهو كتاب ذا ماجيك باسكت نشر في عام 2012، وأيضا لديها كتاب وهالا داي نشر في عام 2014، وتجد أعمالها إلى اللغة السويدية. وهناك الكثير مما في خبايا حياتها التي نتعرف إليها معا. هاي
It's nice to be here. I'm good.
I'm very happy and I'm very glad to meet you here in this workshop.
Yes, thank you.
You're an amazing person. I'm reading you. Why you start writing and from childhood? What happened?
Yeah, so I started writing when I was really young, and I think I also entered publishing also really young.
Wow.
So
You're lucky.
I guess, I don't know. It has its advantages and disadvantages.
Really?
Yes. So my first book was a small children's story, a small children's fantasy called The Magic Basket, and that was in 2012 when I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
And then the second one was Wahala Dey, that was published when I was 14. And then so that's kind of how it started out. But then after that time, I haven't come out with any long form published work, but then I have been writing short stories and then getting published, and then I am working on my adult novel now.
Yeah.
So after about 10 years, I'm going to be making a comeback soon.
Wow. I want to ask you about why you start writing from first things. What is pushing you? What is inspiration you to start writing?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. I think writing has just always been the only thing I've wanted to do for a long time. I
But
think
you'll find your passion
from a very young age. So actually how it happened was I used to do so many different like writing competitions with my friends in class. So we would write short stories and then compare whose is better. And this was like when we were really, really young. But I think I've just always loved to write even while I was younger, because I was always trying to understand myself and understand the world, understand like human beings that I meet, and understand how like human interaction, like basically understand the complexity of human beings and the way we think, the way we behave. I think it just made me make sense of the world. You know, people try to make sense of existence and life and the world through religion and through so many other things. I found writing to be the place where I would be able to make sense of like being a human being and what it's like to have emotions, what it's like to love somebody, what it's like to feel pain, and also explore how these things can sometimes affect larger systemic issues, you know, like political issues and stuff. But I just usually like to write about the personal, and then through that you can also explore the political.
I think you are very talented because you got the prize and award for your writing.
Oh
Tell
yeah.
me about that experience.
Okay. I don't know which prize you're talking about. If I do say so myself, I've got a number. But I think the one you're referring to was
No, it's okay. You can take your time.
Okay. Yeah. So I did win one prize in 2022. This was the Dream Foundry.
The first one?
Yeah, that was not the first one.
The famous one.
The famous. I don't know how to. Okay, fine. So the one I'm talking about was an international prize. So I think this was my first international prize that I did win. That was in 2022. That was the Dream Foundry Contest for emerging writers. So it was meant for people who write speculative fiction. I'm particularly proud of it because I I don't really write speculative fiction. So that story was one of my first, no, the second speculative fiction story that I wrote. And then I submitted it and it won. And it was great because I had submitted for it, and then they had shared the short list some time ago, and then I didn't see my name, so I didn't get any email or anything. So I was like, they didn't like my story, whatever. And then my friend came to me and started saying, oh my god, congratulations. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, no, I just saw your name. Oh my god, oh my god. So I was like, oh whoa,
Wow.
yeah. And then that was the first time also that I won a lot of money for writing. So I felt very good about it. And yeah, that's how it's been. So yeah, so that's one of the major ones. But I have sometimes been occasionally shortlisted for a prize or longlisted for a prize, and just, you know, things like that. After I published Wahala Dey, also that was when I was 14. I also did get some African Genius Prize, and yeah, that was very very. I was very honored.
Of course, I did. Excuse me, I want to ask you about you are Ghanaian writers and you're still young, so you find your road a long way for you. What the challenge you face it?
Okay, so I can share some personal challenges and then also general challenges that's you know, young writers maybe coming out of Ghana also face. So, well, personally, um, I have just struggled after I came out with my books when I was younger. I kind of had that as my identity for so long, and it made it almost difficult to write anything new because I always felt the pressure of having to match up to what I had done before when I was younger. So because of that, it made it difficult to write anything new because every time I wrote something, I thought it wasn't good enough, and I always felt the pressure to do what I had done before again. So I suffered writer's block so many times, and also it was just difficult to write because I was in school. I had to go to high school and then university, and I was also very busy with university and stuff. And with the way that school is structured in Ghana, for example, you typically don't, at least in public schools anyway, you typically don't have enough time and space and resources and time and space and resources to pursue other things you want to do outside of school. And also in a society like ours, people, it's very hard for you to come out and say that I want to be a writer, you know, because we live in a very difficult economy, and everybody, you know how difficult it can be to make money off of writing or to make a living off of writing. So you aren't really taken seriously if you say you want to be a writer. So that's something that I have had to deal with. And everybody's expecting you to do the traditional jobs like, oh, be a business person or be a doctor, be a lawyer. Exactly, exactly. So I did kind of struggle with this decision that I wanted to be a writer. And just thinking also about avenues for development, like as a writer in Ghana, sometimes it can be a little difficult. I had to look for a lot of opportunities on my own. But needless to say, because I had started out early, I did get a lot of support from writing organizations while I was growing up. So even publishing my book, I got a lot of support from the Ghana Association of Writers, Writers Project of Ghana later on. There are people that have supported me. My parents have also supported me. But just because of the larger systemic issue of not having enough infrastructure for writers, I still struggled. And even though so imagine I was able to have some support, but then I still struggle. So just imagine how much more difficult it could be for another Ghanaian writer who didn't have that much support. So it is a very large issue, which I know over the years will get much better.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you about your master degree.
Oh, yes. So I'm doing my MFA in creative writing at the Aiywa Writers Workshop. I'm the third Ghanaian to be there in the history of the workshop, so I'm very happy about that. But that's also to say, you know, like one thing that I am very interested in aside from writing is also working with other writers, and then trying to find a way for all of us to kind of get access to these opportunities. It's a very great opportunity, me being in this MFA. And so what I have been doing recently is also trying to to help other writers, especially Ghanaian writers, to also grab these opportunities. So I have a YouTube channel. So on my YouTube channel, sometimes I share my experience being at the Writers Workshop, and I also have put out a video recently on tips for applying to an MFA and things like that, because I want people to know about this opportunity. So you can check that out. I guess we will link it down.
Yeah.
But yeah, being at the Writers Workshop, at the Aira Writers Workshop, has been such an amazing experience, because it's such a prestigious workshop, you know, and it just feels good walking into the workshop every day knowing that so many writers that I have admired and looked up to also pass through this place, and it gives me hope that me working in this space and learning in this space is also going to help me achieve my dreams to the level that they have. And we have so many amazing facilitators, so many amazing professors who have also advanced in their literary careers.
Wow.
And I feel so lucky because, you know, every time you're just walking around town or anytime there's some event, we just have so many different writers coming to town to share their experiences and things like that, and it's such a priceless experience to have. And I'm so grateful for it. I'm so excited about it. Right now I'm in my second year, so after this workshop I'll be going back to start my second year, and I will be working on my new novel when I go back.
Wow.
So that's exciting. I'll also be teaching a class. I haven't taught poetry, fiction, and non-fiction before, so that's something that I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, it's a very great experience being there, and yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Best of luck, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me ask you now, when you are talking about the social media and how it's affect to help the writer.
How I think social media could help the writer. Oh yeah, so social media has definitely really helped me. Because
even me, or how can I know about this workshop? Just from
from social media, right? Exactly. So even I think this workshop, my friend found out about it on social media and then came to tell me about it. So social media has definitely helped us to connect with many writers and also to find opportunities. So being on social media has helped me meet so many other writers. So I'm beginning to form a good community of writers around me who, you know, with whom we can share opportunities and share ideas and all of that. And social media has also helped me share my work, because now so many of us young writers are publishing in online literary magazines and stuff, and then trying to find different ways of breaking out of the traditional way of getting people to access your book. Even though all of us are definitely working towards, or most of us are definitely working towards trying to get that big publishing deal and then get traditionally published or self-published and have physical copies, we're also very interested now in submitting to online literary magazines and things like that. So I have been doing that as well. I started doing that during the COVID-19 pandemic because we were home, and I discovered that there's so many literary magazines you can submit to, and so I started submitting to them. And then being on social media, you will find more opportunities being on social media, and you can also share your work, and then you can almost create an audience for your work. So later on down the line, when your book eventually comes out, or my book eventually comes out, I do know that there are people who have read my work and would be interested in reading the long form work that I have out.
Now I'm just wondering if you are visiting before Rapport or Middle East, something like that.
Oh, I haven't, but I really hope to. So even
we should.
And I think it's also good. This workshop has also been very great because there's been how many different countries here? About 14.
14
or so. So Israel was saying the other day that because we are meeting so many people, so now if I come to Dubai, maybe if you are there, I have a place to sleep. So I don't have to go and pay for a hotel because now I know Salma, so I would just come out and be like, oh Salma, I'm here. And I think it's very important for writers to be able to meet so many other writers from different countries, because I think that especially it's very great that we're meeting so many writers from different African countries, because there's definitely a lot more. We're doing so much work already, and I think we're doing really great, and I think we should do more also in in connecting with each other and trying to build a firmer industry for even our generation of writers, right? And so I think it's good, and also include more more jurisdictions in Africa, because sometimes when we talk about African literature, the first thing people think about is, oh, Nigeria or maybe Ghana or Kenya, when there's so many other brilliant writers coming out of so many different African countries. And so I think that it's great that we're meeting each other so that we can build like a larger, more inclusive community of African writers, because people need to see our work and people will see our work.
Yes, really, really. And now, like you see, what our homework, like just 3-4 words, and we are write a story about it, and from different perspectives.
Yeah.
It was a great experience.
Yeah.
To meet like this workshop.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. It's been brilliant. Yeah.
Today's challenge is very high.
Yeah.
I love it. Let me ask you about what your last project you are working on it now, beside your master degree, and if I may asking you about an advice for the writers, what is will be?
Amazing. Okay, first question. I'm working on a novel.
You are creative writing, so I think you are opening a different project.
So right now, my intention is to work on a novel. I'm at the beginning stage, so I actually have no idea where it's going or what it's really about. I don't know what the story is, but I have started. So I have a good idea of who my main character is. And so at the moment, how do I say it? I don't write very quickly. I think I like to spend a lot of time just letting the work kind of create itself in the back of my mind. And so at the moment, I have an idea of who my protagonist is. And so anytime I feel like she's a bit more developed in my head, or there's a story that she seems to be telling me or something, I will write it down. So now I just write small snippets. So I don't really have a forward-moving story. I don't really know where it's going, but that's where I'm at right now. And I'm hoping to do it a little quickly because I want to get my book published soon. So that's what I'm working on. I'm working on a short story collection because, like I said, I was working on short stories during the pandemic and trying to publish them. But I wasn't trying to put a collection together. But then later my friend saw that the stories seemed connected. So yes, exactly. So I can put them together and then write a few.
I have the same problem.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I think whichever one comes first, that's where I'm at.
Who's the easy?
Yeah, we'll see.
Both of them not easy.
Yeah, I know.
To sit and sit and just put in one file. I sucked up. Okay, leave it.
Yeah, but we'll keep putting it together. So I guess that also comes to the word of advice. First thing I would say is just being a writer is hard. It's not easy, right? Being a writer or trying to pursue the job of being a writer. But if you genuinely feel like this is something that you want to do, I don't think that you should listen to what other people have to say in terms of the fact that they don't think that this is a viable thing to do with your life or with your career. I think it is. And I think it's a very fulfilling way to spend your life if you really want to write. And I think if you feel called to write, the calling is never going to leave you, even if you go and try to be a doctor or whatever it is. I think that you will come back to it. So you might as well do it now because it will come back to you. So I think just have trust in yourself. Like have a lot of faith in and have a lot of conviction in what you want to do if you really want to be a writer, and keep at it. And this thing is not easy because I have had so many rejections, and I keep on having rejections. Even when we started the workshop, I got a rejection about 3 days ago. The rejections will keep coming, but it's okay. You have to keep doing it, because so many writers that we know who have made it had to field off so many rejections before the right home for their story found them. So don't be discouraged whenever you're getting rejections. Don't be discouraged when writing feels hard at a certain point in time. It can feel hard sometimes, but you just have to keep at it. And I think that it's going to it will be good, and you will also feel fulfilled that this is what you chose instead of doing something else. What else can I think of? I think that's really, really the main thing. Just listening to yourself and then believing that this is something that is worth doing with your life. Yes.
I think that will be last questions, and really I thank you. I appreciate
you
your
so
time.
much.
I know you have a lot of things to do.
Party. Thank you.
Sorry, thank you. It's my honor to be there.
Yes.
And yeah, maybe
Thank
I
you
will
so
see you in
much.
another time in
Yeah.
your YouTube channel maybe.
Thank you.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much. See you.
Bye.
باي. ليس على الأسوأ أن أشكر صديقتي الكاتبة أودري على وجودها معي في هذا البرنامج مع بنت النور، وأما أنتم أصدقاء مشاهدتكم في أمان الله. إلى اللقاء.